I've had many a discussion with young people, all leaders in their own right, all with fresh thinking and fresh ideas, and all wanting to make the country and the world a better place. So they can enjoy a planet which generations before have destroyed through short-sightedness, selfishness, and sheer disregard for other beings on the planet. Recently, I watched a host of young people from all over the world speak at the Global Youth Summit, all passionate about overcoming challenges that COVID has brought on and confident that they can take the world forward if allowed to. Among these young speakers was Sri Lanka's Tharindra Arumaperuma, an emerging leader representing the Asia-Pacific region in the International Council of the Duke of Edinburgh's International Award, and a board member representing the award in the Global Youth Mobilization for Generation Disrupted program, who got her gold award at just 19 and has worked extensively with young people. Tharindra came into our studio this week and we chatted about some of the burning questions plaguing youth leadership. So thank you for coming on Kaleidoscope, Tharindra. As a first question, what is the biggest constraint that Sri Lanka's youth actually face today in moving forward?
I believe the biggest constraint is not being able to follow their passion and not really being able to find their place in the world. Because of that, I believe that you can't find the passion and the place because of not getting the proper foundation, which they should be getting in education, in terms of the formal education they follow, and also non-formal education, which is something they don't really find, and also following the herd, and also trying to become someone from the socially accepted ambitions of a doctor, lawyer, engineer. Now, these are the things young people follow these days, but not really their heart. Okay, so their heart might be somewhere else, but due to the peer pressure, the pressure from the society, pressure from parents, they follow something else. And also mental health is the biggest concern. And also being able to find a decent job in the job market, which they like, and also having to speak up for youth rights. Now, these are all oppressed topics for young people right now.
Is the way we position our culture a hindrance for young people? Are we stifling them in getting things done?
Yes, I believe so. Mainly because of the fact that in our culture in Sri Lanka, we mostly emphasize on formal education, right? So formal education is basically passing your O-levels, A-levels, and getting to a state-approved university. And these are the things that even the society accepts you to follow. And if you don't follow that, you don't become a big person in the society. You're just some kind of a person with not having a vision or target in your life. But I believe for me, a young person is being able to realize their true potentials with education and peers in society. So how do you realize it? Through education, and education is once again a blend of formal, informal and non-formal. Making aware of young people about how to handle their mental health, how to tackle it, right? So we don't really focus on the necessary things that should be supporting young people at the needed times. So I believe this is one of the biggest cultural constraints we have, and if we don't work on it right now, the biggest young population in the world, which is right now, is going to be oppressed for a long time.
So from what you've said about education, does our education actually stack up well against what the world wants?
We are not having that perfect blend between education, and because of the fact that what job market wants and what the actual system or the education system is delivering, there's a huge disparity in it. And things like emotional intelligence, higher order thinking skills, negotiation, conflict resolution, leadership and teamwork. How are you going to build this up in a formal education system? This disparity can be realized, can be eliminated with the fact of making sure that we have a really balanced education system, as well as trying to listen to what young people want to achieve. Like, if we listen to them, if we listen to what they want to improve as a person, I think this could be achieved in a much more successful and a sustainable way.
Why aren't we seeing more young people influencing and shaping the way this nation has to move forward? What is stopping them?
In my life, I work with a lot of young people who really does something to their communities in terms of peace and reconciliation, community development, leadership, social entrepreneurship, and a wide range of things. Now, the question is, do media really focus on these things? I'm not sure. recognition needed for young people are really not out there. And that is the main reason why we don't really hear what amazing things young people do in terms of even innovations during the pandemic. The much needed support, mentoring, or funding for whatever the local solutions young people want to do in their communities. Now, these are once again a big lag. How are we going to achieve it? Well, definitely in terms of creating very youth-focused policies as well. So I believe that young people in our country, in Sri Lanka, has immense potential, immense talent. But making use of it is the responsibility of us as a country and as young people who've gone to places.
So, what are young people's expectations from a nation's leaders, and also where does the nation and its leaders fall short?
We're looking at a 1.8 billion young people in the world globally, and 90% of them coming from developing countries. So if we're not feeding, if we're not nurturing our youth right now, we are facing bigger problems when we hand over our country to them as future leaders. And why not hand it over to them now? Because I believe that they have amazing potential and different way of thinking. So that is what young people expect, to have youth-focused policies. I request that the government and everyone looking at this program right now to invest in young people, invest in youth development, because that is our future.
Non-formal education and learning creates a well-balanced and resilient younger generation. It's time for us to give young people that space. So thank you, Tharindra. More power to you. Thank you for joining us on Selinco Life. Let's talk.
Thank you for having me.
With Selinco Life Pension Saver, Sri Lanka's premier retirement plan, start planning for your retirement today. Selinco Life, a relationship for life.
Be bewitched by some Dumbara magic. Coming up next in Life in 60.
With Selinco Life Pension Saver, Sri Lanka's premier retirement plan, start planning for your retirement today. Selinco Life, a relationship for life.